Hi, this is Bill Frank, and I'm reporting in Ventura for KADY-TV. I'm joined by Bill Wadkins, who is professor over at Cal Lutheran University, and he's also in charge of economic forecasting here in Ventura County. Bill, thank you so much for joining us today. Appreciate it. And you're putting on a big event here, and actually two locations, Cal Lutheran as well as here at the Ventura Marriott. Tell us a little bit about that.
Well, we do a county forecast, and Ventura County people are a little interesting, different. The people in the West County won't go up the hill of Thousand Oaks. The people in Thousand Oaks aren't going to come down the hill, so we just took it to both. And we did the morning event on campus, the afternoon here in Ventura, and hopefully it's accessible to everybody.
And hopefully it's the same information in both locations, right?
We try to keep it the same both of them. Yeah.
Good. Now
consistent for at least one day.
That is good. Now, you're going to be talking, I'm not going to steal your thunder and ask you exactly what it is you're going to say, but in general terms, if you could give us sort of your predictions of how the economy is looking.
In general, this is the most optimistic forecast we've had for more than a couple of years. The first time we forecast in years sustained job growth, not anywhere near what we'd like to see, but still positive job growth, which is a positive change. And output growth probably around 3%. And given the long run average is 3.25, that's good in a sense, but usually in a recovery we like to see some numbers closer to 5 to bring us back to where we are. Talk a little bit about the fact that this is in many ways a jobless recovery, and jobs are lagging output growth a lot.
Well, one of the things I wanted to ask you about is, of course, the recovery on Wall Street seems to be preceding the recovery on Main Street as it applies here in Ventura County.
Well, it applies everywhere. What's happened is big businesses, one, have direct access to financial markets, and instead of having to go through the banks, and the banks are still charging off in excess of $40 billion a quarter. Till that stops, you're just not going to see the banks really being able to participate. There are some well-capitalized banks, they want to make loans, but the banking industry still has its challenges. And then also increasing regulation from Sarbanes-Oxley on has tilted the playing field towards small business or big business, and then finally that too big to fail, it's an insurance policy for them, and it's a big advantage.
And allows them to take chances that others can't.
Absolutely, yeah.
Now, internationally, the recovery seems to be completely different than it is here in the United States. Talk to us about international recovery and particularly how it applies to our port here at Port Hueneme.
Well, the problem with the international system is it's such a state of flux. I mean, just driving from one event to the other and listening to what's going on in the Middle East is pretty scary. And certainly, we look at the international as a source of risk, really, to our forecast. There could be defaults in Europe, or some falling apart of the Eurozone. There could be an increase in oil prices. Worldwide food prices have been some temporary things. China, maybe having to slow their growth down a little bit. So, it's a source of risk right now. And although one bright spot, particularly for California, has been port activity. More in LA than we've seen in Port Hueneme, but it's good to see.
Good. Now, volatility on a worldwide basis is measured by the VIX on the stock exchange, and that's the volatility index. Volatility index isn't reacting to this at all, particularly international news. Why do you think that is?
I can't figure out. The stock market's not reacting to it. We're not seeing a big increase in risk premium. I just don't know. It's where I don't try to forecast the stock market.
All right, we've been talking to Bill Wadkins, everybody, here for the event that he's putting on at the Ventura Marriott. Bill, thank you so much for being our guest. Talk to you later.